You're listening to Hot Topics on Good Mix Radio, hosted by Mike Melody and Sheila Harmony. And each week, they dive into the top trends, pop culture moments, and viral stories dominating the web. They unpack the chaos with humor, sharp takes, and insights you won't find anywhere else.
Okay, let's dive in. Imagine, just for a second, if we could see what the entire internet was thinking about. Like, what were the big questions, the weird obsessions, the things everyone was searching for in, say, the last week of May 2025?
It's like a snapshot, isn't it? A little window into the collective digital mind at that exact moment.
Exactly. And, well, that's what we're doing today. We've been looking at the sources you sent over.
Right.
Specifically, Google search trends for that exact week, end of May 2025.
Yeah.
And our mission here is to unpack what was trending, figure out why it spiked then, and, what it tells us about our culture right now. It's kind of a glimpse into the digital zeitgeist.
And it was quite a week. Looking at the data, 3 big things really jumped out, dominated the searches.
Yeah, we're talking about a huge podcast that just keeps getting bigger.
Right.
Then there's this really strange disappearance from the horror world.
Very bizarre.
And finally, the latest viral thing from some pretty well-known online investigators.
It's this mix, isn't it? Big entertainment, real mystery, and that ongoing fascination with the unknown.
So let's dig into that first one,
Yeah.
the one that really dominated. Call her daddy. It wasn't just like a trend. It was right at the top that week, continuing this massive run it's been on.
And what's really interesting, based on the material, is why it has such staying power. It seems to be about those really raw, unfiltered conversations they have.
Yeah, about all sorts of current issues.
Right. And that specific week, there was a big episode about relationships, modern dating, that really, really struck a chord.
Ah, yes, the source material basically said broke the internet back in May.
That's the one.
With the controversial celebrity interview, a really high-profile name.
And it wasn't just, your standard celeb chat. Apparently, the guest shared some things that were really unexpected. The sources said they sort of resonated deeply with some listeners, but were also pretty shocking to others. That's a potent mix.
Oh, absolutely. Creates instant buzz. We saw loads of media coverage, people praising their, quote, fearless approach.
Right.
And then the crucial part of this massive explosion on social media, memes, arguments, think pieces, everywhere.
And the team behind it, they seem really smart about this. They didn't just watch it happen.
Well,
They actively leveraged all those reactions, amplified the social media discussion. It created this kind of feedback loop, a viral spiral, pulling more people in, driving more searches.
that makes sense. And beyond just that one huge episode, the data suggests other things were feeding the trend that week too.
Like what?
Well, consistent high-profile guests throughout May. There was one example cited. A popular actress came on, and listener numbers apparently jumped 40%.
40%. Wow, that's massive.
Huge. And apparently around the same time, the team made some big announcements, too.
Yeah, updates about their production company, plans to expand their digital media stuff, and those seem to land really well, adding another layer of interest.
So it wasn't just luck. It was like a combination of compelling content, maybe pushing boundaries a bit, preferably smart timing with guests and announcements, and really harnessing that social media buzz, plus all the media coverage. A perfect storm for search trends.
Exactly. A textbook case, almost, of how you create a viral moment online today.
Okay, so shifting gears now. Completely different vibe, from candid chats to something, well, much creepier. The data showed a huge spike around what it called a shocking turn of events.
The Annabelle doll disappearance.
Yes, during its 2025 national tour. That's wild.
It sent, genuine shockwaves through the horror fan community. And, to get why that blew up in search, you need to appreciate Annabelle's whole backstory.
Right, it's not just a movie prop.
No, not at all. It's got this really rich, complex history. Started with a supposed real-life case, then got massively amplified by Hollywood, especially the Conjuring films.
And the Warrens and Lorraine, their involvement really cemented its creepy reputation, gave it that layer of supposed authenticity.
Exactly. So she's kind of embedded in pop culture as this genuinely feared object.
So for this doll to just vanish during this big national tour where she was a main attraction, people expecting to see her, that's huge news in that world.
Huge. And the material pinpoints when it happened. First noticed May 10th, 2025.
Where was that?
Los Angeles tour stop.
And the kicker is An investigation started right away, but by the end of May, when these searches were peaking.
Nothing. Our data showed 0 clues had emerged publicly. Total mystery.
We saw that quote from the tour organizers. It really captures the mood.
Yeah, something like, the loss of Annabelle isn't just a loss for our tour.
It's a significant blow to the entire horror community. We urge anyone with information to come forward.
Yeah, that was it. Sets a serious tone.
You can just picture the internet's reaction. A supposedly haunted doll disappears without a trace.
Oh, it was a firestorm. The sources confirm that. Theories everywhere online.
What kind of theories?
All over the map, really. Some people immediately yelling, publicity stunt.
Right, a marketing ploy for the tour. Makes sense.
But then you had the other side, leaning into the spooky stuff. Maybe it was a genuine paranormal event. Something, sinister happened.
And the official statements didn't exactly clear things up, did they?
No, they were pretty vague. Just hinted it might be more complicated than a simple theft or a prank. Which, of course, just fuels more speculation.
And then the paranormal experts weighed in.
Naturally. Adding fuel to the fire. Some were cautioning, this might be more than a hoax. Warning that disturbing the doll could unleash negative energies.
It plays right into the whole mythology built around her for decades.
Exactly. It taps into that deep human fascination with the unknown, with spooky things, especially involving an icon like Annabelle. Perfect storm for search trends again.
And speaking of exploring the unknown, the third big trend that week.
Sam and Colby.
Yep. Their latest investigation went viral. And the sources we looked at really positioned them as having kind of revolutionized horror content on YouTube.
Their journey's pretty interesting. They started on Vine, doing comedy sketches.
Feels like another lifetime, doesn't it? Vine.
Totally. But when Vine shut down, they made a really sharp pivot to YouTube. And that shift to horror and paranormal investigations, the data suggests that was the move that just catapulted them.
And their stuff evolved, right? It's not just jump scares.
No, it's more involved now. Ghost hunting, urban exploration, these sort of mini documentary style videos. They kept their original fans, but built this whole new audience with genuinely engaging high quality production.
Their approach seems key. The material calls it fearless.
Yeah.
But also this unique take on urban exploration. It's not just like sneaking into places. It's mixing the thrill with actual investigation.
Right. They seem to really dig into the history of the locations, and that willingness to go into genuinely unsettling places resonates. Plus, they're good at building community.
How so?
Documenting everything across social media, doing live streams, Q&As, makes fans feel like they're part of it.
Okay, so fast forward to 2025.
Mm-hmm.
The sources mentioned a documentary series they did that year.
Yeah, that seemed like a big step up, showcasing their most elaborate investigations, using new tech, doing deeper research.
And it got good reviews.
Apparently, yeah. Critical acclaim brought in lots of new viewers. The success seemed to be down to good storytelling, basically, weaving complex cases into compelling narratives. They really pushed the envelope for YouTube horror.
So that specific week, in May 2025, what was the investigation that went viral?
They explored an abandoned asylum.
Ooh, classic spooky location.
Exactly. And this one, according to the info we have, had a seriously dark history. Open early 1900s, closed in the 80s amid reports of patient abuse, weird occurrences.
Grim stuff. And had other people investigated it before.
Yeah, other paranormal teams had been there, reported phenomena like apparitions, disembodied voices, so it was already known as a hotspot.
Prime location for them.
Totally. And during their investigations, Sam and Colby apparently caught some unexplained things on camera.
Like what specifically?
The material mentioned orbs and shadowy figures in the footage.
The kind of stuff that always sparks debate.
Precisely. That footage kicked off a huge discussion online. Experts analyzing it, people arguing, was it real paranormal evidence or could it be debunked? Camera artifacts, pareidolia, you know the drill.
Yeah.
We saw that quote from a leading investigator basically saying, the footage is compelling, but we can't conclusively say it's paranormal without more evidence.
That ambiguity is key, isn't it? Keeps people talking, searching, sharing.
Absolutely. And the sources noted this specific investigation really solidified their status as top-tier horror YouTubers.
Okay, so we've got these three really different things, the podcast, the doll, the ghost hunters, all dominating searches in the same week. What does that tell us, big picture, about why things go viral?
Well, it's fascinating. The research points out something important. Digital trends aren't just reflecting culture anymore, they're actively shaping it. It's like the way we consume content, the way we interact online, it's actually changing the culture itself. The digital world isn't just a mirror now, it's a driving force.
That's a big shift. So it's not just offline events getting talked about online.
No, it's also how the online platforms work. Their algorithms influencing what bubbles up. We saw mentions of algorithm changes, like Google trying to prioritize trustworthy content, but also stuff with high user engagement. It's a mix.
But beyond the tech side, there's the human element, the psychology. Why these things?
Right. The sources hit on key psychological triggers, like emotional resonance.
Making you feel something.
Exactly. Joy, surprise, fear. Content that evokes strong emotions is much more likely to get shared. Think about Annabelle, pure fear and mystery.
Or the Call Her Daddy episode shock, maybe relatability for some.
Precisely. Novelty is another one. Something unique or unexpected, like Sam and Colby's asylum footage, that grabs attention.
And social proof.
Yeah, if everyone you know or influencers you follow are talking about something, you're way more likely to search for it yourself. It snowballs.
Looking even broader, the research connects these trends to kind of post-pandemic shifts in culture.
Right. How has our consumption of information and entertainment changed since, say, 2020?
Podcasts are a huge one. Call Her Daddy is part of that wave.
Definitely. It suggests a move towards more personal, intimate content. People feel connected to hosts. And that viral episode just shows the power of social media to amplify a single moment into something massive.
And the horror stuff.
Yeah.
Annabelle, Sam, and Colby. What's the thinking there?
It points towards maybe a collective desire for thrills, for exploring the unknown. Some analyses suggest it could even be a reaction to all the anxiety and uncertainty of the post-pandemic years.
Like seeking out controlled fear or escapism.
Potentially, yeah. Or just grappling with bigger questions through entertainment, and the numbers back it up.
What numbers did we see?
Things like a 30% jump in podcast listeners since 2020, a 25% rise in watching horror on streaming, and a big 40% increase in searches for paranormal investigations.
Wow, so these aren't just isolated blips, they reflect real shifts.
Yeah, broader shifts in what people are seeking out. Maybe a desire for community, connection, definitely a need for escapism and entertainment.
It really shows how entertainment, mystery, and that kind of shared online experience can become these huge cultural moments, even if they don't last forever.
Exactly. Fleeting, but significant.
So, wrapping up this deep dive into that 1 week in May 2025, we saw Coco Call Her Daddy, harnessing resonant content and smart strategy.
We saw the Annabelle Disappearance tapping into that collective fascination with horror and mystery.
And Sam and Colby showing the power of boundary-pushing online creators in the paranormal space.
And these specific examples, like the source material stressed, they really highlight how dynamic digital culture is. These obsessions can be intense, all-consuming for a bit.
But then they fade. Something else comes along. It's incredibly ephemeral.
It really underscores how fast our collective focus shifts online, but understanding why these things catch fire, even briefly, gives us real insight into the wider culture.
Yeah, what captures attention, why it matters, and how the online world keeps changing. It helps you make sense of it all.
Absolutely. It's always evolving.
So, as you think about that week, the celebrity gossip, the missing doll, the asylum footage, maybe consider this. What do these fleeting internet obsessions truly reveal about us, collectively? And looking ahead, what totally unexpected thing might be bubbling up right now, ready to capture everyone's attention next?